Kutokana na janga linalokumba nchi yetu, tumejipata katika hali ya kiwewe. Hali hii imeendelea kubadilisha maisha yetu kwa viwango vikubwa. Kukaa nyumbani kwa usalama wetu pamoja na wale tuwapendao. Kutokana na hali hii, imetulazimu kuwa na mitaa zisizo na watu, milango zilizofungwa na uhuru wetu wa kutembea imepungua kwa kiwango kikubwa. Ila ni wakati kama huu ambapo moyo wa Wakenya wa ujasiri, ukakamavu na uwiano utatuwezesha kupambana na janga hili kama tulivyopambana na majanga mengine hapo awali. Na katikati ya majonzi na kiwewe hiki, bado matumaini yapo. Matumaini kuwa tutaweza kushinda janga hili na kuinuka kwa umoja kama Wakenya. Na tutakaposhinda janga hili, uzuri wa nchi yetu wa kipekee utakuwepo kutusisimua tena. Kwa mara nyingine, tutarejelea yale tunayoyapenda. Tutaelekea kwenye fuo za bahari kujivinjari na tutarudi mbugani kuona wanyama wetu wa kifahari. Bila shaka, tutaanza tena kuunda kumbukumbu za kipekee na wapendwa wetu kwa kutangamana na kula vyakula vitamu. Tutajumuika na marafiki huku tukishangilia timu tuzipendazo. Tutaenda matembezi mbugani na tutajiburudisha tena kwenye mikahawa ya burudani. Pamoja tutashinda janga hili na tutarejelea yale tuyapendayo kwa dhati. Magical Kenya, uzuri wetu wa kipekee bado unatungoja.
Miss, I've been asking about Flight 648 from Paris, but no one is saying anything. Is something wrong?
A tragedy changed everything.
It's the plane. They're not coming.
What are you talking about? What do you mean they're not coming?
I won't leave you. Why did they have to die, Juana? Tell me why.
A last will is going to transform their lives.
It's Juana Lopez Ortiz.
Me?
You have to get that woman out of here. Only heaven knows what kind of trick she used to get your father to leave her the insurance.
And the person she least expected will come to her door.
Ah!
Hey!
Ouch!
Be careful. Slowly, slowly.
Oh, no,
slowly.
In love with Ramon.
Top on Channel 1.
Elgon Thabiti Fertilizers, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries, Cooperatives and partners of the National Farmers Awards congratulate our 2019 winners.
Your son hates me.
How long have you felt like this?
It's been building.
He's very mature, but he's not come into himself yet.
I'm so proud of how close we are. Listen to me, you little weirdo. If you want to mess with me, I want to mess with you right back. Oh, buddy.
Everything okay?
To all the winners, we celebrate your valued efforts in feeding the nation and wealth creation. You are our soil heroes.
Yeyote aliye na kinga hafifu mwilini yuko katika hatari ya kuambukizwa COVID-19. Hao ni kama watu ambao wanaishi na magonjwa kama vile virusi vya HIV, kansa, TB, kisukari, miongoni mwa magonjwa mengine. Lazima wazingatie matibabu ili kuboresha kinga mwilini. Lazima wahakikishe wamepata dawa ipasavyo. Tembelea kliniki yako au kituo cha afya kilicho karibu nawe kwa maelezo kamili kuhusu jinsi ya kupata dawa. Pia wasaidie jamaa na rafiki kupata dawa. Dumisha mawasiliano nao na ufuate mwongozo wa kiafya kutoka kwa kituo cha afya ili kujikinga na virusi vya korona. Pata habari kuhusu COVID-19 kupitia vyanzo vinavyoaminika. Piga 719 au bonyeza *719#. COVID-19 inazuilika. Jilinde, linda familia na jamii. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na serikali ya Kenya.
It is Friday, the 26th of June 2020, 8 months or so since the first coronavirus was reported in the world, and 105th day since Kenya reported her first case. There is no vaccine or treatment for coronavirus. What are the world scientists up to? And even here in Kenya, the World Health Organization is already warning countries against lifting restrictions. The countries that have tried lifting their restrictions or easing them, they have experienced another wave of coronavirus. And today, Kenya joined the world in marking the World Drugs Day, and there was a concern, especially by NACADA, with the manner in which parents are taking alcohol at home, and warning this is a bad example to children who are at home. And the Minister of Health is also telling parents to ensure they are counseling and speaking with their children on why it's really harmful to take alcohol during this time of the coronavirus pandemic. It has everything to do with compromised immunity. We have details of that and much more. But first, let's have a look at what the country is up to, especially on the coronavirus cases. In the last 24 hours, the country, or the Ministry of Health, was able to take 3,090 samples across the country, and from those samples, 149 tested positive, 148 were Kenyans, and 1 person was a foreigner. Also, we did record 48 recoveries and 5, quite a huge number of people losing their lives from this complication. And cumulatively, 158,404 samples have been tested since March this year, and a total number Kenya now stands, or the caseload now is at 5,533 recoveries, 1,905, 137 deaths so far. And the Minister of Health also was able today to confirm that about 609 active cases of COVID-19, and 18 of them are in ICU in different hospitals in the country, and that the latest. Tell us actually what you have been up to during this time, what you're doing with your time, and some of the practices and the things that you are doing to keep yourself busy, and also to ensure that you do not find yourself really in doing or practicing some of the vices that the Minister of Health is saying that it's compromising the fight against the coronavirus. At Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1, and the hashtag to use is Channel 1 News. Let's first have a look at the news highlights.
Finds that the allegations were not directly linked to the governor, and it is therefore not substantiated.
It's victory for Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru. A Senate dismisses the impeachment motion against her, terming the allegations baseless.
It does make good sense that even if one is going to ease, you ease it in a very cautious and a phased manner, so that you do not very quickly lose the gains you have made.
The numbers are not promising. 179 more coronavirus cases, as government says easing containment measures depends on caseload curve. And NACADA warns parents drinking at home that they are enticing their children to alcoholism. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Purity Museo, and Byron Abuli is our sign language interpreter tonight. Let's now get started. The Senate has dismissed an impeachment motion against Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru by the County Assembly. In a unanimous decision, the Senate committee has that had been constituted to probe the impeachment motion by the County Assembly cleared the governor of all charges leveled against her. A section of senators, however, registered their disapproval of the outcome, claiming it had set a bad precedent in the war against corruption.
Will be required to stand in silence.
The Kirinyaga County Assembly has fallen short in its attempt to impeach Governor Anne Mumbi Waiguru. On Friday, the Senate dismissed Waiguru's impeachment on grounds that none of the two charges leveled against the governor could be substantiated.
understand that not everybody will like the verdict, but the process seems to have received very high ratings.
The special committee observed that though none of the allegations could be directly pinned on the governor, there were obvious grounds to believe that public resources were being plundered in Kirinyaga County.
The tender for the proposed waterworks for Mwea Makima water projects, March 2018. This tender, Mr. Speaker, was awarded to Ever Trading Agencies Limited, which was clearly owned by a member of the family, specifically the brother to the accounting officer who awarded the tender with no declaration of interest.
The committee recommended that investigatory authorities undertake a probe into the allegations made by the Kirinyaga County Assembly, and the culpable officers, including the respective tender evaluation committee members, be called to account.
All the companies that were awarded unlawful tenders in Kirinyaga County, the ESCC, the DCI, and any other investigatory organ should initiate investigation and report back within 60 days, but in the meantime, those tenders should be paused until that matter is heard and determined.
A section of senators, however, dismissed the findings of the special committee, arguing that the outcome of the probe had been predetermined and that it was an affront to the war on graft.
Justice was not done to the people of Kirinyaga. Corruption fighting in this is a storytelling. This was a soap opera movie.
We got a committee that was very good at sanitization services, and they have been able to carry that this afternoon.
Governor Anne Waiguru, who has maintained her innocence, has been urged to foster a cordial working relationship with the Kirinyaga County Assembly to avert frictions that may stall effective service delivery in the county. For Channel 1 News, I am Edward Kabasa.
And away from Kirinyaga leadership row, the Ministry of Health has hinted at a possibility of relaxing some of COVID-19 containment measures, which include a nationwide dusk to dawn curfew and restrictions of movement into and out of Nairobi, Mombasa and Mandera, citing concerns they have been damaging the economy. Health Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Rashid Aman, however, noted that while doing so, the government will first put in place proper protocol to prevent a surge of coronavirus cases in the country. The CAS also announced that the country had in the last 24 hours recorded 149 more positive cases of the virus, taking the total number of infections to 5,533. On June 6th, President Uhuru Kenyatta extended a cessation of movement in and out of Nairobi, Mandera and Mombasa for an additional 30 days owing to a spike in infections and counties' unpreparedness. Thursday, when he met governors virtually, the head of state reiterated that the decision to reopen the country's economy will be informed by the level of preparedness by the devolved units. The Ministry of Health is now acknowledging the restrictions are hurting the economy and some could be lifted with careful considerations.
First of all, the decision has to be based on the scientific committee. Normally, most of these countries have national task forces, they have the incident management system. There should be a risk assessment to see over the last 2 weeks, has the trend of the COVID cases been going down? Has the number of hospitalizations been going down? Has the number of deaths been going down? The second is the capacity to test and isolate cases. Because as countries ease these measures, if they can quickly test the cases they find, identify them quickly, isolate them, find the contacts, quarantine those contacts, then you get the pools of infection, the sources of infection from the community. And really, this is a multi-sectoral approach because you have to work with multiple stakeholders. All sectors have to be involved, and these guidelines are just kind of the technical public health measures that need to be taken into consideration.
WHO may have its recommendations. I know that the African Union also has recommendations, but eventually every country will have to look at its own situation and context and make a wise decision on how to go about this.
The restrictions are expected to be adjusted next Sunday, the 5th of July.
These things have to be weighed very carefully, and a country will have to determine how they want to ease. But it does make good sense that even if one is going to ease, you ease it in a very cautious and a phased manner so that you do not very quickly lose the gains you have made. And I'm sure that when that wisdom is provided, we will be able to ease some of these measures because the economy is also hurting.
In the meantime, the coronavirus cases in the country continue to increase, with 149 more cases reported in the last 24 hours from 3,090 samples.
Nairobi leads with 73 cases, followed by Mombasa with 20, Kajiado 15, Siaya 13, Busia 9, Kiambu 8, Taita Taveta 3, Machakos 3, Kilifi, Nakuru, Nandi, Bungoma, and Isiolo with 1 each.
The CAS adding that 48 patients were discharged from various health centers in the country, taking the total number of recoveries to 1,905. 5 more patients succumbed to the disease as well, hence the tally of fatalities rose to 137. In honor of the International Day Against Drug Abuse, Dr. Mann urged parents and caregivers to engage children about the harmful effects of drug use.
Behaviors associated with the use of drugs may increase the vulnerability to the disease. I think we are all aware that drug use is a gregarious activity and brings people together, close together, and you know that that is not good for transmission of COVID-19.
So the Minister of Health has raised a concern of increased vices such as drug abuse, especially house and home parties during this time of containment measures, restriction of movement. And of course, tonight, I'm asking you what you're doing to protect yourself, not just from coronavirus, but also these other harmful vices such as drug abuse. At Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News, Alexis Morara, you're watching from Gashie. Wilson Mwalili, you also tuned in from Nairobi County. And also Alfred Auko, you're saying you're watching live from Kisumu, so keep tweeting. We're also live on Facebook, Twitter, and also YouTube as well. The government says students at the Technical Vocational Education Training TVET institutions are likely to write their examinations ahead of the proposed reopening of learning institutions in September. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha said even though the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the TVET examinations calendar, the institutions were better placed to conduct the examinations. The Education CS said the institutions have been directed to explore possibilities of having students whose examinations are due recalled.
Speaking at Kisumu Polytechnic on Friday during a meeting with principals of TVET institutions from Nyanza, Western and South Rift region, Professor Magoha said the TVET institutions have put adequate measures in place as directed by the Ministry of Health to combat coronavirus, and they could do their examinations earlier than expected.
If the PS1 and his team inspect the institutions and confirm that they can comply with COVID requirements, that class can be allowed to come in and do the exams and get out.
He said most of the students at the institutions were day scholars and will therefore not pose a big challenge on implementation of COVID-19 protocols. He added that institutions have been directed to explore offering classes in shifts so as to adhere to the social distancing regulations.
Every Kenyan life is important, and the President has said this many times, that the loss of any Kenyan life, whether it's a teacher or a child or a chokora, is important for us.
On primary and secondary school, the CS said the ministry was engaging stakeholders to see how best to manage the aspect of social distancing once they reopen. Magoha disclosed that the Teacher Service Commission TSC is set to employ 5,000 teachers and 10,000 interns. For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troinjue.
Kenya is faced with a situation where nearly all hospitals and facilities handling coronavirus patients are full. Statistics by the Health Ministry shows about 80% of those who have been tested are asymptomatic. That means they do not require clinical medicine, but management that involves proper nutrition and a clean environment. How long will it take before such a patient is declared COVID-19 free? Take a look.
home-based care. We look at this patient not having symptoms after 14 days for a patient who is asymptomatic. If the patient who was symptomatic and he was tested positive, we need to have a continuity of no symptoms. Then after being tested, the test should be negative. And if it's a patient that has been tested twice within 24 hours and is negative, then you can end home-based care and isolation.
Time for us now to take our first commercial break. Don't go too far. We still have plenty more to come. Stay with us.
The jury has decided. The Kenya Film Commission is delighted to announce that the shortlisted 20 nominees for the third edition of My Kenya, My Story mobile phone film competition are out. The public voting process is now open through the Commission's website, www.kenyafilmcommission.com. Voting kicks off from the 17th June to 26th June 2020. Vote and get to know who scoops the top prize of 200,000 Kenya shillings during the award ceremony slated for 30th June 2020. Kenya Film Commission. Film Kenya. Capture Africa.
My friend, umewahi kudanganywa. Umewahi kudanganywa. Saa ile uongo unaenda kupewa saa ni kilo 8. Saa hii tu hii ukitumia credit yako. Ile uongo unaenda kupewa kwa hii simu. Mako.
Kupata umewahi danganywa, bonyeza *811 *965#. Bonyeza *811
Usiseme siku guapi.
Next on.
Ngoja niulize jamaa, nani hapa hivi amepimwa hivi majuzi?
Pare kwa Mwangi, si ni 10 bob.
Sijasema kupimwa weight. Saa hizi kupimwa HIV ni haraka na ni bure.
Pole gani? Umechelewa. Too little too late.
No.
Umekuja mama ameshafariki tumeshamzika. No nini?
Arevi.
Hapana staki.
Naelewa. Na situation mimi na wewe nafikiri unajua mimi na wewe ni watu gani ambao tunavoishi mimi na.
Wafanya nini hapa?
Kaka basi watu wakutana.
Kukuwa na HIV si eti ni mwisho.
Wewe uko nayo?
Mimi nilishapima.
Afya bora, maisha bora. Jipime, jiinue.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
And a tailspin? I'm lonely, borderline desperate. Don't you want me? My ex-wife, she's getting remarried, but I'm fine with it.
Oh, yeah, I overheard your speech over there on the couch.
Oh,
I thought it was really honest.
Are you flirting with me? I'm like Shrek. What are you doing? What are you doing here in the forest?
I didn't say that.
I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I really like you. Is it crazy for me to say I want it to work out? She's amazing. Man, I can't believe how deep into it I am.
You're out of your league. I will knock you out.
What? Your son hates me.
How long have you felt like this?
It's been building.
He's very mature, but he's not come into himself yet.
I'm so proud of how close we are. Let me, you little weirdo. If you want to mess with me, I want to mess with you right back.
Oh, buddy.
Everything okay?
Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Channel 1 Weekend with me, Purity Museo, and Byron Abuli, our sign language interpreter. A 42-year-old man has been murdered under unclear circumstances in Matunwa sub-county location in Kisii County. Locals claim the man could have been lured to his death by his estranged wife. Meanwhile, the body of a 28-year-old woman killed by her boyfriend and later buried in a shallow grave at Kieni village in Kirinyaga Central Sub-County has been exhumed following a court order.
Irate residents of Chirenge village, Matunwa sub-location in Kisii Central, attacked a man and a woman on suspicion that they were behind the murder of a man whose body was found dumped outside his house Friday morning. The two suspects were admitted to Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital after sustaining serious injuries. The deceased Mogire Nyamau is said to have separated with his first wife and had married another. Neighbors claim he was enticed with illicit brew on the night before he was found dead.
Tumesikia asubuhi kelele, nimekuja hapa tumepata mtoto ya ndugu yangu amekufa.
Aliamua kutengea huyu mke wa pili nyumba. Akaichana, alikuwa na mpango wa kuweka mapati juu. Wakamaliza fundi wakaenda. Ilipofika usiku, huyu mke mkubwa walikuwa na yeye kwa nyumba, akamuua na watu wengine.
Mimi ni mjukuu wa hii familia. Huyu mwenye amekufa ni ango yangu. Sasa tunaomba serikali itusaidie.
Meanwhile, the body of a 28-year-old woman killed by her boyfriend and later buried in a shallow grave at Kieni village, Kirinyaga Central Sub-County, was today exhumed by police and a pathologist after detectives investigating the case obtained a court order last evening.
Sasi wake wameweza identify positively, amekuwa identified, lakini bado akapelekwa afanyiwe DNA na mambo yote ili aweze kujulikana kabisa.
According to Sub-County Commissioner Daniel Ndege, Mary Wanjiko's body was mutilated and burnt. The family of the deceased has called on police to ensure the culprit is arrested and prosecuted. And Northeastern Regional Commissioner Nicodemus Ndalana is calling on residents in Garissa County to collaborate with the police in efforts to enhance security in the area. The call follows increased cases of intercommunal conflict that have seen 11 people killed in the past 9 months in Raya location. Ndalana said 4 suspects are already in custody.
Mutuonyeshe mahali punduki ziko na musikubalie punduki zingine ziingie huko.
Ben Chumba reporting for Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, the National Authority for the Campaign Against Drug Abuse, NACADA, has issued a stern warning to the general public as well as liquor outlets against flouting government guidelines on curbing the spread of COVID-19 disease. During commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, NACADA Board Chair Professor Mabel Imbuga raised the alarm over increased cases of drinking parties in homes in the presence of children, as well as an upsurge in online sale of liquor, which exposes young persons to the risk of alcohol abuse.
Kenyans may need to review their alcohol drinking behavior amid the closure of liquor premises across the country. National Authority for the Campaign Against Drug Abuse, NACADA, says individuals, especially parents who drink from home, expose underage children to the risk of drug abuse.
We are particularly concerned over the alcohol drinking behavior characterized by increased cases of drinking bouts in homes in the presence of children, some of whom are carrying out online learning programs.
Home is where the children are. Home is where children are learning. When you convert homes to bars, you are undermining the serene environment required for learning.
NACADA Board Chair Professor Mabel Imbuga and NACADA Chief Executive Officer Victor Okioma also raised concern over the upsurge of online sale of alcohol.
Online sales of alcohol has also shot up. And our concern is that when you find online sale of alcohol, my daughter who is 12 years can go to Uhuru Park and a motorbike would deliver alcohol. How do you guard against underage drinking? That's where the challenge is.
NACADA has also put on the spot individuals who lock themselves inside bars in violation of government guidelines on containing the spread of COVID-19. The authority maintains it will pull all stops to discourage reckless behavior as the country battles to manage the global health crisis.
And wish to strongly warn those that are perpetrating such crimes that the law will catch up with them.
They spoke during celebrations to commemorate the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, where winners of a countrywide art and essay competition were feted. Similar celebrations were held in Mombasa, where Assistant County Commissioner Luka Nyaga reiterated the government's commitment to fight drug and substance abuse in the coastal city.
Everyone in this country is affected in one way or another, including officers in the government. So what do we do with them? We try to rehabilitate them, they get back to their normal way of life. That's why you find we have officers being recommended to various rehabilitation center. We have people being referred to counseling. When you are in the early phases, you can be taken to counseling and retract back very fast.
Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
Moving on, the Council of Governors fully supports the proposals by the County Pension Fund to ensure social protection for all Kenyans by mandatory pension contributions. Speaking at the 17th Annual General Meeting of the County Pension Fund, the Council's chairperson, Wycliffe Oparanya, said the Council will engage stakeholders to put in place legislations and measures geared towards expanding coverage of pension to cushion members during hard times as the one occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The Council of Governors is keen to engage stakeholders to put in place legislation and measures geared towards expanding coverage for our people to help cushion them during times such as this.
Governor Oparanya said the Retirement Benefits Authority under the National Treasury is involved in initiatives to prepare policies on adequate and affordable retirement benefits that will help contributors live the sunset years comfortably.
The Retirement Benefits Authority, RBA, under the auspices of the National Treasury, is actively involved in a number of exciting collaborative industry initiatives, such as working on the draft National Retirement Benefits Policy, whose objectives is to prepare an overarching policy on retirement benefits.
He said with the many Kenyans joining the retirement bracket, it was prudent that those entrusted with funds contributed by Kenyans to cushion them from the economic hardship in their later years manage such funds with utmost prudence.
The policy will seek to provide adequate, affordable, and sustainable retirement benefits to Kenyans through a robust pension scheme.
He appreciated the industry's hand in actualizing the Big Four agenda by investing in gainful ventures that will help the fund grow. The chairman of the fund, Julius Kipngetich, urged Kenyans to cultivate a saving culture, always thinking of tomorrow.
Our savings rate as a country is still low. If you look at the current statistic from the Central Bank, we are doing roughly around 10% of our national income as saving. I would like to urge more of you to continue saving. I know it can be a challenge in these circumstances to allocate some more money to saving.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
To politics, Amani National Congress Party's internal disciplinary committee has expelled Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala from the party's membership for supporting a rival political party. The party, which held its special sitting today under its leader Musalia Mudavadi at the same time, said it does not have any plans of joining the ruling party, but rather sought to strengthen its structures to woo other political parties.
The Amani National Congress Party has joined other political parties in the de-whipping spree. In a special sitting held Friday under the leadership of the party leader Musalia Mudavadi, the party's internal disciplinary committee sent packing Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala for contravening party's constitution.
Kwa hivyo naomba tupitishe mswada ambao unasema that this special meeting of the NGC hereby adopts and ratifies the resolution by the internal disciplinary committee of the party and NEC expelling Honorable Cleophas Malala from the party's membership.
The special sitting adopted resolutions to postpone party elections and to extend the tenure of current office bearers. Amani National Congress party leader Musalia Mudavadi asked members to strive in strengthening the party instead of salivating to join the ruling party.
Kwa hivyo msiwe na wasiwasi ati mtu anasema lazima uingie kwa serikali. Sisi tunataka tuunde serikali, wao waingie kwa serikali yetu. Hiyo ndio tofauti. Wale wanasema tuingie kwa serikali ambayo iko kwa kipindi cha lala salama.
Mudavadi said the party is safer forging away for the next election. He termed as town courts the parties that have deserted the NASA coalition.
Sasa wako na shida ya kueleza wafuasi wa NASA katika Kenya nzima kwamba ni nini wanapata kule.
This comes as a youth from Sirisia constituency within Bungoma County say they will not in any way sympathize with the saga that befell Sirisia Member of Parliament Major retired John Waluke.
Meja mpatikana makosa, si hatuwezi mshikia shati kwa sababu tayari makosa imeonekana na sheria, kulingana na sheria itafuata mkondo wake.
The youth say the MP should carry his own cross, saying the turn of events should serve as a lesson to fellow leaders entangled in misappropriation of public funds. And members of the Sabaot community who mainly hail from Mount Elgon sub-county are calling for cessation over what they term as marginalization. The county, led by former MP Wilberforce Kisiero, also want Mount Elgon sub-county to be split into 3 independent constituencies.
Tangu huru 1963 hatujapata waziri hata moja. Ambassadors hatujapata. Viongozi wa parastatals hatujapata. Sasa saa hizi tunataka kama jamii tuweze kupewa kaunti yetu.
Sababu nusu iko upande wa Bungoma, nusu iko upande wa Trans Nzoia. Watuletee Mount Elgon ni kuja upande wa Trans Nzoia, kama haiwezekani isimame peke yake.
Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
Politics amid the coronavirus pandemic. Remember, tonight I'm asking you to let us know what are some or how these restrictions, especially on the dusk to dawn curfew, inter-county movement, has helped you identify or know or find out some of the talents you didn't know existed or you had. On Facebook, Channel 1, we have Odio Ali Hassan watching from Olewe, Migori County. Lucky, Channel 1 News Weekend. You are following from Ukunda, Kwale County. David Sonia also on our Facebook page. You also, thank you for your kind words. And Gilbert Keegan, you are saying, son of Betty, you are tuned in from Tonui, Kebeneti. Gilbert Keegan again, you also watching. Keep talking to us. Patrick Ototo from Kisii County. Also on Twitter, I will be sampling your feedback. Remember, I'm asking you to just talk to us and tell us how these restrictions and coronavirus staying at home has helped you rediscover or discover some of the innovations or talents you had that you did not actually know you had them. All right. Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala has commissioned construction of a 53-kilometer fence at the southern boundary of the Meru National Park boundary as part of strategic measures to curb human-wildlife conflict in the area. The development coming as Meru National Park recorded a high number of rhino birds in the first 5 months of the year 2020.
In a move to provide residents with a permanent solution to perennial human-wildlife conflicts, Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala toured the Meru National Park to assess the situation. Balala announced the payment of 230,000 shillings to compensate victims of human-wildlife conflict in Tharaka Nithi County. The amount is in addition to 15 million shillings paid out earlier. Kenya has in the last 1 year recorded a high number of rhino births, with 17 white and 14 black rhinos delivered. 9 of the calves were born at the Meru National Park in the last 5 years.
Black ones are 17 and white ones are 14. So we have done very well even beyond South Africa in terms of black rhinos who have reproduced. So congratulations to all of you.
Balala, who was accompanied by Wildlife Principal Secretary Professor Fred Sigor, among other government officials, each contributed 100,000 shillings to be given to rangers deployed in the sanctuary as a token of motivation. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
And the government has been called upon not to relent in protecting the rights of children, especially the girl child, which are often infringed through female genital mutilation. At the launch of a book titled The Hidden Scars of Female Genital Mutilation to mark the International Day of Victims of Torture, women leaders called for tough punitive measures for perpetrators of the retrogressive tradition that is still being practiced despite being outlawed 9 years ago.
It is estimated that during the COVID-19 pandemic, over 2 million girls will undergo female genital mutilation. Saida Hussein is a victim and survivor of female genital mutilation who has decided to address the issue through a book titled The Hidden Scars of Female Genital Mutilation.
Actually, what made me write the book is that we still have a high number of women and girls who undergo through FGM, but still the prevalence is still high, and despite the efforts.
The launch of Saida's book in Nairobi coincided with the International Day of Support of Victims of Torture. A host of leaders, including prominent women politicians who attended the unveiling, called for stiffer penalties for perpetrators.
It's still happening, you know, and I remember the last case we had was in Meru, where the parents ran off. I don't know if they got arrested, but their daughter died when they were doing the female genital mutilation on the daughter.
According to the World Health Organization, a total of 200 million girls and women worldwide have undergone FGM in countries where the practice is common.
One of the biggest challenges is that resources do not go to the grassroots. And when we talk about the international organizations, they support other organizations that are based in the cities, and also organizations that do not go to the grassroots where FGM actually happens.
In Africa, it is documented in 30 countries. Prevalence of FGM in Kenya is at 21%, with Mandera and Wajir counties recording a frequency of 94%.
In my community, FGM prevalence stands at 94%, despite the national prevalence being at 21%. That tells you a lot, that 9 out of 10 girls have already gone through FGM. Where are these survivors? They are within us.
It's everyone who's going to be a legislator in the parliament who's going to fight against the reproductive health care bill has had their hands in the cookie jar. And then on top of it, they have the right to stand as moral authority against the reproductive health rights of a child.
Even as the government continues to wage war against female genital mutilation 9 years after it was outlawed here in Kenya, it is evident that much needs to be done, particularly at the grassroots level, to ensure these harmful cultural practices comes to an end. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Timothy Kipnusu.
Indeed, thank you so much, Timothy Kipnusu, for that report. FGM outlawed 9 years ago in the country and still being practiced in some communities. The national government has begun construction of 2 footbridges at a cost of 235 million shillings in Magarini to replace the ones swept away by floods. Local leaders say the bridges will help hundreds of residents who cross the crocodile and hippo-infested river Sabaki daily to operate safely and also boost the economy.
It's a sigh of relief for Magarini residents who have for months risked their lives crossing the hippo and crocodile-infested river Sabaki after the 2 main bridges washed away by floods 3 years ago were rebuilt.
Sasa hii shule zimefungwa kwa sababu ya COVID. Naomba kwamba waweze kuharakisha, wahakikishe kwamba facilitation hasa kwa contractor iwe inafanywa kwa wakati ili kwamba aweze kumaliza kabla shule zifunguliwe.
Elsewhere, Kiambu County COVID-19 Relief Kitty has received donations worth over $1 million shillings from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology to benefit vulnerable groups in the county.
We'll be revisiting our MOU so that we can incorporate some of the other areas that we are going to be collaborating in.
We are here to present to Kiambu County, Your Excellency, foodstuffs, which we hope will contribute to your store, which is being used to help the needy people in Kiambu County.
In Nairobi, the Kenya Scouts Association has embarked on a hand sanitizers and free mask distribution exercise in 3 main informal settlements in Mathare, Kibera, and Kawangware.
In scouting, whatever we do is education. We are an educational movement. We are a leadership academy. All we do every time is to educate young people.
Meanwhile, the Kisumu High Court is leveraging on technology to decongest courtrooms in a move aimed at complying with directives issued by the National Emergency and Response Committee on containment of COVID-19.
We have been delivering judgments, and we will continue delivering judgments. How do we deliver judgments and rulings? We do so virtually, and we send electronically a copy of the signed judgment to the parties.
And clerics from Nakuru County are calling for the reopening of churches, saying they have an important role to play in the war against the COVID-19 pandemic.
The role of the church is to bring sanity, provide moral and spiritual guidance to the society and the nation in general, and lack of which we can all agree to a great extent has resulted in the escalation of higher incidences.
Finally, a swarm of locusts has invaded Lodwar town in Turkana County, causing panic among residents.
Tusaidiwe hii kazi tufanye, ndio hii nzige ni mbaya saa hizi. Hata sasa tukuli inaingia kwa masahani. Unakula ugali nzige 3.
And despite WHO's warning to countries not to ease their restrictions, Spain has opened, especially some cities opening their borders to even international tourists. We'll be giving you details of that and other business stories when we return from this second but very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Elgon Thabiti Fertilizers, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries, Cooperatives and partners of the National Farmers Awards congratulate our 2019 winners. The Best Women in Agriculture, Farmer Beth Wairimu Kinuthia. Congratulations. Caroline Mukuhi Mwangi, the Youth in Agriculture Champion. We honor you. Tops in Floriculture, Oserian Development Company and Equinax Horticulture. We are proud of you. To all the winners, we celebrate your valued efforts in feeding the nation and wealth creation. You are our soil heroes.
The FA Cup is back on your true sports partner KBC Channel 1 with the quarterfinals of the competition set to take place this weekend. Norwich will be at home to Manchester United this Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Igalo scores! Oh, saved! Krul went the right way!
In our action-packed football bonanza, don't miss out.
Miss, I've been asking about Flight 648 from Paris, but no one is saying anything. Is something wrong?
A tragedy changed everything.
It's the plane. They're not coming.
What are you talking about? What do you mean they're not coming?
I won't leave you.
Why did they have to die, Juana? Tell me why.
A last will is going to transform their lives.
It's Juana Lopez Ortiz.
Me? You have to get that woman out of here. Only heaven knows what kind of trick she used to get your father to leave her the insurance.
And the person she least expected will come to her door.
Ah!
Hey!
Ouch!
Be careful. Slowly, slowly.
Oh, no, no,
slowly.
no, no.
In love with Ramon.
now time for business news, and the government admits it is becoming a challenge to contain desert locusts as more swarms fly in and eggs from the previous swarms hatch. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya says Marsabit and Turkana counties are the worst affected, with the new swarms invading, prompting the government to dispatch 12 aircrafts for spraying affected areas.
Lodwar town has been invaded by new swarms of desert locusts as the country grapples with the second wave of the pests. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya says Turkana and Marsabit counties have been massively affected by the swarms, hatchlings from the old swarms. The government is hopeful that the changes in wind direction will help push the new swarms away from the food basket counties.
Pia tuna habari ya kwamba hewa pia inaweza badilika, direction ya weed, zile stabaki pengine ziende dunia ingine.
The government has procured 12 aircraft and engaged 500 personnel from the National Youth Service to help in spraying the affected areas in Turkana and Marsabit counties.
Hii tunapambana naso, asitafika pande hii, sababu niko na mandege huko 6 ambazo zinafanya spraying. Niko na zingine 6 ambazo zinafanya surveillance, hiyo ya kuzunguka kutafuta ziko wapi. Hiyo bando siko na changamoto bando hiko, lakini tunaendelea kupambana. Ile dawa ya kuspray ya kutosha tuko nayo ya kutosha.
Preliminary reports on the damage caused by desert locusts commissioned by the government shows the pests have destroyed over 1 million hectares of crop and pasture. Benson Dioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Nkunga is a crater lake in Meru that has unique geographical landforms. The surface of the lake is covered by aquatic grass that gives an appearance of a magical spread out of green flouting mat. Tonight we focus on Lake Nkunga in our 4-part series of tourism rebirth post-COVID-19 in Meru County.
Welcome to Lake Nkunga in Meru, which is less talked about but a magical destination.
Meru town is only about 10 kilometers away from here.
This is a crater lake, one of the most unique geographical landmarks in Meru County. The lake is surrounded by thick immense forest, a home to wildlife which frequent the lake to quench their thirst. According to Meru traditional myth, the lake was abode of a mystical 7-headed snake called Nkunga. The dragon could allegedly swallow whoever dared venture anywhere near the lake. To date, locals refer to the destination as Iriaria Nkunga, meaning Lake of the Dreaded Beast in local dialect. Nevertheless, this does not stop locals and visitors from appreciating the destination.
There are many other stories that depict the system of protection of this area as a wetland, and the people, because of that and their cultural ways of maintaining their environment, they maintained this place as a wetland, as a source of water, and people would only be guided to get water from certain place, like where we are standing, and the rest of it, it was very, very dangerous for you to go around there, or to do other things apart from just getting water and watering the animals and getting out.
An ideal destination for outdoor events. The Kenya Wildlife Service is said to limit the number of people visiting the site on degradation concerns. The county government of Meru intends to rehabilitate the area to establish it as an ecotourism site. It is a destination you would visit throughout the year, owing to good weather patterns, and engage in sport fishing or just to relax.
It lacks serious recreational facilities. And because this is a town that is growing and growing very fast, we believe that we can offer a facility where people can come after they have worked very hard, or during weekends, they can come and relax.
The Ameru community are among the few still holding tight to their traditions, and even with the COVID-19 pandemic in place, such treasures like Nkunga Lake and the forest are valued. Visitors are, however, urged to adhere to the national government's directive while on a visit in the fight against the spread of COVID-19. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1 in the county of Meru.
Thank you so much, Irene Muchuma Odim. Remember, tourism is one of the sectors highly affected, especially by the restrictions put not just in Kenya but around the world. So it's a four-part series. Join Irene also tomorrow to just have a look at what exactly Meru County is doing to revive its tourism sector. Kenya Airways officials say implementing social distancing post-COVID-19 would make ticket prices very expensive, making flying uneconomical and unsustainable. Officials told shareholders during the annual general meeting Friday that the airline, which has so far lost 10 billion shillings after operations grounding, is optimistic that the government will ease travel restrictions next month.
Kenya Airways passenger aircrafts have been parked at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, with the airline surviving on cargo and chartered services since March, following the grounding of passenger services by the government in efforts to contain the spread of coronavirus. In April, the airline made a bailout request of 5 billion shillings, noting to service aircraft and recurrent expenses. During an AGM held on Friday, Kenya Airways officials expressed optimism that the government would lift the suspension of passenger services across Kenya. They, however, called on authorities not to impose social distancing requirements, noting that it will make air tickets very expensive.
If we do the physical distancing, which is neutralizing the middle seat, it is going to become uneconomical and viable to fly. In fact, the air ticket will increase by between 60 to 100%, which will make it impossible for us to be able to operate, and not just us, the airline industry to operate.
The national carrier says it has so far lost 10 billion shillings due to COVID-19 related travel restrictions, and the amount could hit 50 billion shillings if flights are grounded for the rest of the year.
Since January to date, we probably lost, in terms of revenue, around about $100 million, in excess of $100 million, which is about 10 billion Kenya shillings. We think when we estimate to the end of the year, we think we will lose probably between 400 and 500 million dollars, which is about 40 to 50 billion Kenya shillings.
Because obviously there's a limit to how much losses you can carry and continue to be a going concern. So, our plea right now is can we start flying as soon as possible, even if it is at reduced level, but any flights that we have, commercial flights, will help us a lot.
Globally, airlines have been returning to service, starting with domestic flights, as the industry awaits global service next month. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
Elsewhere, exports are rebounding, driven by tea and horticulture as key source markets ease travel restrictions. Central Bank Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge has, however, warned that the rebound does not mean that the worst is over, as there could be risks from effects of the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic on the global economy.
In a virtual post-monetary policy committee briefing, Central Bank Governor said a diversified economy, product diversification and strong domestic consumption will be Kenya's lifeline as it recovers. He said volumes of key export products such as tea and horticulture are already performing better this year compared to last year, despite the economic challenges. Diaspora remittances are also seeing an upward trend as countries continue easing lockdowns and restrictions. Remittances from South Africa that had declined to about $5 billion in April tripled in May to over $15 billion. CBK cites opening up of mobile transaction channels internationally as a cause for the projected increase in remittances. The banking sector has seen an increase in transactions conducted outside banking halls, rising from 88% of transactions between January to March this year to 94% in May and June, mainly driven by mobile money. So far, banks have restructured 23.4% of the total loan book, totaling 679 billion shillings. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
Who choose to read their Bible daily, they become wiser and they become stronger than the people who don't read their Bibles. So when you choose hard, difficult things, you become a natural leader. He brings us to church to introduce to us another higher level of relationship that is called a faith relationship. You are also a solution to somebody else's problem. You cannot be the only problem all the time.
Join Pastor Jimmy Masharia on the Master's Touch this Sunday from 8 a.m. on KBC Channel 1.
It's an excellent ball, and the ball in for Iheanacho gives Leicester.
As Newcastle host Coders, Manchester City at 8:30 p.m.
So Maximan, Lazzaro's in the middle, it's gone in a film, I think. It's 3-0 Newcastle. Mendy, Aguero short, and it's going to go in.
It is a double treat you can't afford to miss. Don't miss out.
Miss, I've been asking about Flight 648 from Paris, but no one is saying anything. Is something wrong?
A tragedy changed everything.
It's the plane. They're not coming.
What are you talking about? What do you mean they're not coming?
I won't leave you. Why did they have to die, Juana? Tell me why.
A last will is going to transform their lives.
It's Juana Lopez Ortiz.
Me?
You have to get that woman out of here. Only heaven knows what kind of trick she used to get your father to leave her the insurance.
And the person she least expected will come to her door.
Ah!
Hey!
Ouch!
Be careful. Slowly, slowly.
Oh, no.
Slowly. In love with Ramon.
The long-standing rivalry between Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards, which dates back to the late 1960s.
Nah.
But this time, we fast forward to 1987 when the Mashemeji field picked up in the final of the Moi Golden Cup. It's an encounter you can't afford to miss. From our archives, this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1 as we relive the golden days with our legends.
It's now time for sports, and Manchester United coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says winning the FA Cup could be a catalyst for further success as Manchester United prepares to face Norwich in the quarterfinals tomorrow, a match that will be aired at KBC Channel 1 on Sunday. KBC Channel 1 will air the match pitting Chelsea against Leicester and Newcastle versus Manchester City.
It was Arsenal who struck. Nelson's cross, Socrates Papastathopoulos. Brilliant volley.
He only knocks it down for Barkley. And we were all, many his teammates were thinking he would give it to Pedro, but he gave it a real whack, didn't he, in the end, and it was too hot.
And Liverpool's 30-year wait for a top-flight title is over after Manchester City at Chelsea to confirm the Reds as English Premier League champions. Jurgen Klopp's side needed one victory to seal the league, but City's failure to win means that they cannot be caught. It is Liverpool's 19th top-flight title after their first since 1989 to 1990, and despite being urged to stay home by the city's metro mayor because of coronavirus, thousands of fans gathered at Anfield to celebrate. Many of the supporters who congregated at the club's ground wore face masks and some lit flares. Kevin De Bruyne's brilliant second half free kick cancelled out Christian Pulisic's breakaway goal for Chelsea, but Liverpool's title was confirmed with 12 minutes when Fernandinho was sent off for handball on the line and Willian dispatched the resulting penalty. And Manchester will be playing tomorrow. You know, I'm a new fan, so you better do me that favor. And that match will be aired live at Channel 1 News. So why not catch that match? And that's the end of Channel 1 News with our sporting action. Thank you so much for your time and your feedback. Overwhelming. Thank you so much for the love and for choosing Channel 1 for your news update this night. I want to wish you a lovely night. My name is Purity Museo, and Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter, but it's not a night before you know how the weather is going to be like tonight and even throughout the weekend, and that update coming with my colleague Irene Muchuma Odim. Irene, it's over to you.
Great Purity, this is Channel 1 Weather Updates. A very warm welcome from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Irene Muchuma Odim. Tonight, we begin from Meru County, a region that has been experiencing cool and cloudy weather conditions, especially during the morning hours. These are some of the pictures we were able to capture for you. The situation won't change anytime from now. According to the weather experts, temperatures would go as low as 15 degrees Celsius between today and the 29th of this month. Though it is a good environment, it is good to keep warm, just for your own good. In the capital, it will be cool and cloudy. Equally in Nyeri, it will rain in Kakamega and a few areas over the northwestern parts of the country. Malindi, Mombasa, and Lamu will experience showers. This, as the rest of the country, will experience sunny conditions. In the afternoon, Kisii, Kakamega, Bungoma, Kitale, Eldoret, moving all the way to northwestern parts of the country, will experience showers accompanied by thunderstorms. Meru, Nyeri, and the capital will experience wet conditions in the afternoon. For you over the coastal strip, expect wet conditions over a few places before sunny intervals will prevail. Temperatures have slightly gone up. In Mandera, we're expecting maximum of 36 degrees Celsius. The capital will experience maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. And for you in Garissa, expect highs of 34 degrees Celsius. That is the weather in the home country. Let's now have a look at the international forecast. Do have a good night and a blessed day ahead.